Hi, I'm Rob Dahm. You may recognize me from such classics as How to Afford a Lamborghini or everybody's favorite Nissan GTR Bikini Run. Now I'm here today to talk about a vehicle that I've been teasing my audience with for quite some time, and I truly apologize. I've been driving it and braking it more than I've been filming it. And without much further ado, I bring you the 3-rotor RX-7. Now, without knowing much about rotary engines, what you do know, this isn't a very large car. And that's one of the very impressive things about the Mazda RX-7. It was built originally with 2 of these. These are basically, for most of you that are familiar with my rotary engine fans, but those who aren't, this is basically the same thing as a piston in your engine. This is called a rotor. The stock Mazda RX-7, the body that you see here, started with 2 of these. And it put out a real peppy, nice 255 horsepower. But that was at the crankshaft. So put into the wheels, you're maybe 225, 230 if you were lucky horsepower at the rear wheels. This vehicle is a little bit more than that. Now, Mazda engineers built most of the engines, most rotary engines, with 2 of these. They called those the 13B Mazda rotary engine. As you can imagine, somebody said, hey, there's 3 sides to a rotor. Why not make 3 rotors in an engine? And I'm sure somebody put that together long before I did, and we got the 3-rotor engine. Now, surprisingly enough, it wasn't put in a sports car, though. It was put in more of a Japanese mafia kind of car, equivalent to our Mazda Millennia. It was the Unos Cosmo. Now, not that very impressive in my opinion, but still a very collectible, culty vehicle. That was never imported to the United States, though. What was the engines that were broken when people got into accidents. They would take the whole front clip of those vehicles, import those into the United States. And it didn't take long before people in the States took those engines and put them in the sports car. Now, a stock 3-rotor engine also didn't put out that much power. It was turbocharged from the factory, but it was in more of a cruising, think of like a V8 Cadillac sort of equivalent. Not exactly, but you get the idea. It's not meant for speed, it's meant for torque and more oomph when you're driving the road. In this case, though, this is for racing. Now, as you may have already figured out, this engine, 3 rotors alone, isn't enough to produce the horsepower that you were expecting. Instead, we added a huge, massive fucking turbocharger to really kick up the results. How big is this turbocharger? It is so large that it even takes this larger engine 5,000 RPM to come online and start producing usable boost. Once you hit 5,000 RPMs, I'll let the video show the rest. Oh. Okay, how is it? There she is idling. It's nice and smooth. My tack isn't working, or my tack RPM. My RPMs aren't working at the moment, but this is about 1,000, maybe 900 RPM, which is actually pretty low. This is street ported, so it's going to be taking in more air and trying to do more with it. But I still keep it under 1,000 RPM for idling, which sounds sexy. A lot of things about this car really aren't friendly to the daily driver, much less I own other RX-7s, and the cars are nothing alike. This thing has no forgiveness, no kindness, no heart. There's nothing nice about this car, and that's what's amazing about it. First of all, the rear differential, which is what takes the power going toward the back of the car and turns the wheels, that thing, it doesn't fuck around. That thing is mean. It's more like a locking rear differential. Like, it's meant to put the power to the ground, and you'll hear it cracking and popping as the tires heat up. So I've got racing slicks on the back, and those hold to the ground as well. So just listen, take a listen. You have to keep the RPMs up higher because I also have a triple plate clutch. Out of all of my cars, the Diablo, my other RX-7, even my Cadillac CTS, none of those are even remotely as difficult to drive as this car is. The previous owner, Tommy, who was a god amongst men, he built this thing and for a variety of reasons. Took out the power steering. Turbocharger on this is a BorgWarner S480, and it doesn't really come online. It doesn't really start producing power until 5,000 RPM. Let's see if you guys can figure out when that is. I think it's pretty obvious. There's nothing nice about that, though. This isn't like the Lamborghini where it's beautiful, it's refined, you've got this nice sense of power. This thing is just angry. It's angry that it has to be turbocharged. It is angry that it has to do anything. But once it does it, it's happy to scare the shit out of you. That is where it gets its sense of happiness. What's really important about this is what I'm showing you right now is at the wastegate spring of 15 psi. This is only 600 horsepower. Jesus. You better be able to hear those tires spinning out while I'm going, because I'm doing that for you guys. And if it makes it to YouTube, I survive, so we're all good.